Barbershop Conversations, man. Appreciate you guys listening, and he's back. The Hall of Famer, Mr. Leon Muhammad. How you doing, man?
Oh man, trying to hold on as I approach 80 by God's grace. Couple months I'll be 80 by God's grace. I'm holding on.
And before we get started, please tell the people your Cash App to support you, and also
a Cash App is $ Leon J Muhammad. It's LeonJayMuhammad. So a Hall of Famer in 5 states. God is good.
So it's no, but what's the Cash App ain't Hall of Fame in 5 states, is it?
The Cash App is $ Leon J Muhammad.
Okay.
Not boxing. $ Leon LeonJayMuhammad.
And what's the J short for? What's the J short for?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the J for? Yeah, what's the J for?
Hello?
Yeah, what's the J short for?
Huh?
What is the J short for?
No, it's the whole name, Jay.
Okay. All right, so what's been going on with you in boxing, man?
And I've been waiting for Top Rank to come in here next week. Top Rank coming in, and Joe LaGuardia, I'm going to do him on May 15th. Top Rank coming back June 10th. Eddie Hearn's coming June 24th. But by God's grace, if I feel good, I'll go out for Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Top Rank is bringing me out, or invite me to come out.
And Shakur will be in Newark next week. Are you going to that fight?
Next weekend, I'll be with Shakur and his family and JP and all that crew out of that 3rd ward out of Houston, Texas.
Right.
Of Big George's ward.
Right. Big George. He has a movie coming out, George Foreman.
Yeah. They're all gonna be out there for that. For Shakur, all the Newark legends, all the Philadelphia legends are gonna come out. Mildred 10, all of them. We're gonna bring Mildred out. We're gonna bring him back. Come out and support Shakur.
Did you know George Foreman?
For me?
Yeah.
I know him very well. I was in Zaire. You forgot I was in Zaire.
Oh, so you were in Zaire. You was in Zaire. So tell us what really happened.
And the field in Manila.
Oh, I didn't know that. What?
Yeah, I thought I told you that, my brother.
No, so with some background noise, some ladies talking. So just so you know, your voice. I want your voice to come through clear. What really happened with George Foreman's injury in Zaire?
Well, he had a cut. Dick Sadler, who was training him at that time, along with Archie, Dick wanted to go home, but the president of Zaire, Mabuba, said, "No, you can't leave here. The fight is on. You got half your money up front, so you got to stay here." So that's when the fight was postponed, and they all came, and that's what happened. He did get hurt in the gym. That's what happened. He got hurt in the gym. He did get hurt in the gym.
So
yes, he got hurt in the gym.
So George Foreman actually stayed in Zaire the whole time to heal up.
He stayed in Zaire the whole time. The whole time he stayed in Zaire.
Right.
Thank you. He stayed in Zaire the whole time. Never left Zaire.
Okay. So and on the Muhammad Ali, you were on the Muhammad Ali side, right?
There's no question about that.
Okay.
Because I'm a Muslim.
Right. Now, on the Ali side, he was married to Belinda Boyd at the time, correct?
Yes, he was. He was married to Sister Belinda.
And she's now known as Khalila Muhammad Ali. Yes.
Khalila Ali Camacho.
Thank you. Now, is that true as to what happened? He had another woman there.
What you mean?
Because it was in the movie. It was in the movie. I'm
Let
not.
me tell you the whole story.
Okay, go ahead.
Captain Raymond, who was her father, who was a captain in Chicago, Captain Raymond boy reached out to Herbert and told Herbert to tell me, ask me what was going on. I said, Captain Raymond, I don't know what's going on. I played like a dummy because I'm running around with Carl King and Bodine Brown. I didn't care what was going on at that time. We were talking about 1974, almost 50 years ago.
Wow.
But he was married. He was with Veronica. I don't know personally, Brother Fred, into your plans, was she was just doing an article or was there was an item? I can't testify. You know me, I testify for what? Because I'm from the corners. I testify what I see, not what I heard. I testify what I know and see.
So what?
I can't testify.
So what happened? So what did you see with your eyes?
Huh?
What did you see with your eyes? Because everyone's goes off of the movie.
Hold on, think about that. You said what did I see with what?
What did you see with your eyes in Zaire as it pertains to?
All I saw her, Ali, and the entourage walking together. That's all I saw. I never saw nothing. Never saw her going to sleep. I saw her in the dining room.
Who's her? Who's her?
We all eating that. Huh?
Who's her?
But I never saw her go to sleep.
You talking about Veronica?
So I'm not going to say something. I never saw Veronica. I always saw her. She walked with Ali a couple times, but the whole entourage, the Bodine, everybody was there. Don, everybody was there.
Okay.
So, but what I will say, I know for a fact that it full blossomed the relationship after we all got back. I want to say around 75, 76, and because Captain Raymond was tired of Ali. Captain Raymond, which is, in my opinion, which is Belinda's father, he was a captain and ran a bakery in Chicago.
Yeah.
Captain Raymond's your boy. Raymond boy just died a couple of years ago at 90-something.
Right.
That's Belinda's father.
Right.
He was captain in Chicago.
Right.
But you know me, Brother Fred. I only worry about number 12 business. I don't worry about Chicago, New York, Houston, Shaw. I worry about Jeremiah's business. All that other stuff, it don't concern me. I was a captain in Philadelphia. It don't concern me, that other business. But if I know about it, I'll speak on it. If I don't know, I can't speak on it.
So what did y'all do? So y'all had, how much time did y'all have for the rescheduling?
We had almost 30 days.
30 days, right. So what did y'all do in that 30 days?
We just kept, we relaxed, train here and there, shallow box. We just train here and there. See, you got to remember in 74, we were still under the old teaching because then the old man hadn't passed yet. We were still under the old teaching.
So y'all was just trying to figure out how to rob each other then, if y'all were under the old teaching, because Herbert wasn't paying you what you worth.
Herbert, he never played with me because they all feared Jeremiah. They didn't play with 12. I mean, if you check the history, and John Ali will tell you himself, that rat bastard tell you, nobody played with 12. They played with everybody with 12. They played with Yusuf Shaw and that crew in New York. They didn't play with 12 and 25. They didn't play with Mustafa and us.
Right. So Herbert had a handful of women too at the time, if I'm not mistaken. He had a lot of African women too. Herbert
was crazy. Herbert was out of his mind. Jabba had strip joints. Jabba did Jabba. I'm gonna put it like that. Jabba did Jabba. His holy name was Brother Jabba. Jabba, the Herbert, aka Brother Jabba, he did Jabba. Jabba did Jabba.
Right.
See, one thing everybody feared 12. They feared Minister Jeremiah. He was the most feared minister that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad had. May Allah grant him paradise and grant him for his sins. I mean, Allah Akbar. This is a month of Ramadan.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the fans have to understand the history of the nation and the history of those that was there, those that was around Ali, around Kwawi, around Eddie Mustafa, and Matthew Saad Muhammad, around all the Muslim fighters. They got to understand that all those guys came in at the end of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's life. Now Ali was the only Muslim in at the top of Elijah's game. Now it says game at the top of his teaching. Ali was the only most popular Muslim in.
Right.
Eddie Mustafa, all them guys came in. They came in the mid-70s. Now I think Eddie came in. Now Saad Muhammad came in around 76, because he was under Mike Tyson's father-in-law, the Imam Shamsuddin Ali, who was not Captain Clarence, who was not captain.
Right. But
He was a
y'all,
good brother, Imam Shamsuddin.
yeah, right. So y'all were under the, I'm not gonna call him honorable, Elijah Muhammad, right? But none of y'all are following Muslim law. Y'all having sex, y'all in the strip club, y'all doing whatever.
You can't say that, Fred. I told you. Watch what you say. You can't say what you don't know, what you didn't see, bro.
I didn't see it, but that's what the history books say.
You can't go by the history books because the writers write what they want to write.
So tell us what happened. I'm
saying you had brothers that own strip joints. You had brothers that alleged own strip joints. I don't know, because I didn't get in nobody's business. 12 didn't get in nobody's business.
Yeah,
25 didn't get nobody's business.
Yeah, you're scapegoating right now because you were there. So now it's not about 12. I'm talking
because
about.
I was there. No, because I was there don't mean that I know.
I know that, but if you were
See,
there,
one thing I learned in life: mind your own business, do your own thing.
No, that's not what I'm asking you.
And
to
you'll
do.
be blessed to last as long as I have, almost 80 years.
I know,
Stay
but
in your own lane.
I'm not
I'm
asking you to
lane.
snitch at all, but you're withholding information, though.
See what I'm saying, brother? So you trying to pull some straws that is not there.
No, I'm not trying to pull straws, but I felt that you pulled back on the whole story.
Listen, I don't go back on nothing. If it happened, if I was involved, I'll tell you I was involved. Yeah, I owned the strip joint, but I didn't go in. I had people working for me. I owned a strip joint called the Hearts and Flowers in Philadelphia on 13th and Arch.
But that's what I'm saying.
I owned it with some people downtown. But that don't mean I went in and hang in it.
But how can you own a strip club and be
So you
Muslim?
saying that Herbert had African women, but did you know that for a fact? Or that's what you've been told?
Well, I'll tell you what Bob Arum told me.
You got to have facts, bro.
Well, I'm asking you to confirm it then. That's why I'm talking to you. You were there.
I can't confirm nothing I didn't see, brother.
Okay. You can't confirm. Obviously, you wasn't in the bedroom with them. See how you withhold information?
I can't confirm that.
See, but that's the whole point that's the whole point that I'm saying. Like, you're withholding information. Like, I ain't gonna talk about that.
I'm not saying I ain't gonna talk about it. If I don't know something, what the fuck you want me to talk about something I don't know, man? Come on, because you're pissing me off now. Something I don't know, you want me to speak on it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
We're bigger than that, man.
No, because the history.
Go back a few years. We're bigger than that, bro.
No.
I'm not gonna speak on nothing I don't know about.
Yeah, but the books and the movies say he was in there beside a woman and he put a woman on Muhammad Ali.
The movie said it, that don't mean that the movie's true.
Okay.
Because Hollywood write what they want to write.
And the books say it too. So that's why that's all I'm saying. You know, and I have the
wait.
Let me finish. I'm
going to hang the fuck up, man. I don't need this aggravation tonight. What I'm trying to say to you is because the writer wrote the book, that don't mean that it's true.
Okay, now let me tell you what Belinda Boyd told me. She basically said everything that I'm saying was true. She said Herbert was getting a lot of money and getting a lot of women.
If that's what Belinda believed and say,
okay.
then you take Belinda's word, because I don't know.
Okay, we'll move forward. So you were in the Rumble in the Jungle. The Thrill in Manila.
I was in Thrill in Manila.
How was that?
1975, October 1st.
Yeah, the following year. The following year.
The following year. I was there. I was at all the big Madonna games. I was at all of them.
Now, that was a co-promotion between Bob Arum and Don King, correct?
Something like that, because Bob had Joe. Bob had Joe.
Right.
Because of Eddie Flush.
Right.
Because you remember Yank had died a couple years early and Eddie Flush took over.
Okay.
So that's how Bob weaned his way back in for that payday over there with Marco in Manila.
However, at the Thriller in Manila, Bob Arum and Muhammad Ali got along real well, even though they wasn't on the same side of the fence.
See, Ali always liked the Bob. You got to remember, while Don was away, Ali was with Top Rank.
Right, I do know that, yeah.
See what I'm saying? Herbert never wanted Ali with Don. Herbert always wanted Ali with Bob. But Ali was pro-black. He dealt with Bob when it was necessary, but his loyalty was the DK.
Right.
His loyalty was the DK.
Right. And the reason why do you believe Herbert Muhammad wanted like Bob Arum over Don King?
You know, because Herbert believed in loyalty. At Ali's lowest moment during the draft, Bob put that together with all the great black athletes that come in and try to persuade Ali to go into the service. Bob put that together. Bob was his lawyer during the draft. Bob was one of his lawyers. Ali was a loyal guy. But see, you got to remember, when Ali came to Cherry Hill, that's when we took over, number 12. Because Cherry Hill came up on the Philadelphia. Cherry Hill, Atlantic City, Camden, all South Jersey came up in the Philadelphia. From Asbury Park on up to the New York line came under 25.
Right.
So whatever he did, so whatever he did in those days, in the Delaware Valley, came up under Minister Jeremiah. Who was Ali when Ali's about? If you see the rematch with Ali and Leon Spence, you see all the standing in the ring. You see Minister Jeremiah saying the prophecy out.
Makes sense to me. Now, what was Don doing like in the Thriller Manila? Like, give us an average day. No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Give us an average.
What Don always do.
What's that?
Move and shake. Move and shake. Trying to put together another big one. Don never stopped. His mind clicked 24 hours. Unless he sleep, he's still clicking. That's how DK was.
Right.
That's how DK is.
Right. Now,
as he approached 92.
And he just signed Adrian Broner. Now, before we move on, I do know that Bob Arum. I do know the reason why Herbert liked Bob Arum over Don King was because he split the money with Bob Arum. And how I know that is Bob Arum told me. He says when Ali used to fight, the old man would send Herbert Muhammad and John Ali in the back, and they would bust the money down the middle.
That's what Bob told you. That's what Bob told you.
Yeah, that's what Bob told me. So, and Bob also told me in a separate interview that and this is how I know Bob and Ali were good friends. He says after the Thriller in Manila when Ali won, they had an orgy for like 3 days.
Well, if you believe that, you believe that.
No, I'm just telling you what he tells me. So,
yeah, but let me tell you something.
Right.
Ali was so tired in Manila, damn near to death. Me and Bodini told him to go rest. We took him to the room. Whatever happened after that,
right?
That's between him and Almighty God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
Right. What was the temperature in there? Because I remember they were
Let me
exhausted.
tell you something, bro. I must have changed T-shirts 6 times between 1 and the 7th round.
Wow.
That's how hot it was, man. That's how hot it was.
Wow.
In my opinion, him and Joe should have packed it in that night. Him and Joe. They both was near death. Eddie Flesh didn't want to stop that fight. Eddie, that's when I gained respect for Eddie. See, people talking about how great Eddie Flesh was. Eddie Flesh only had one fighter he started from scratch, and that was Hedgeman Lewis. Everybody else was already made. Joe, everybody else, he already made. And even his trainer, Freddie Roach, was already a number 10 contender when Eddie got him. Right. All the fighters Eddie had, even with Michael Smith was already world champion, like heavyweight when Butch Lewis brought him in. You guys got to understand how this thing goes. You know what I'm saying, man?
Right.
Like Ma Lance always said, it's never personal. It's always business. And a lot knows this.
Right. So what do you take from your Zaire and Thriller and Manila experience?
Bro, I wish I never went.
Why?
Especially Manila. It's too hot, man. It was hot in Africa. Shit, I ain't with that heat. I was born in June, man. I ain't with that heat. That's why I lived in Minnesota, New York, all the cold places. Chicago. Shit, that's why I don't live nowhere that's hot. I ain't with that hot weather. Too hot over there, man. It was hot, man. I almost died over there. You know, I was a diabetic. The whole time I was over there, my sugar was over 300, man. Wow. I had to take both insulin 4 times a day. The whole time I was over there, man.
Wow.
Keep my sugar in check. It's too hot.
What?
How long was breathing?
How long were you in Zaire?
Bro, I went there 8 days before the fight. Because I heard about the heat group. Because I called Bodini. Bodini he called me Philadelphia Fats. He said, Philadelphia Fats, you coming? I said, bro, I'm coming, man. Because I got orders to come from the minister. He said, but it's hot as hell over here. He said, don't bring no shirts and no suits. Just bring a lot of T-shirts.
And wow. How long were you in Manila?
8 days.
Oh, so you was both.
9.
So you were both 8 days and 9 days. So
in Zaire, I was there a long time in Zaire.
Hey, it's loud, man.
When they talk about them old days, my heart aches.
Mr. Muhammad, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I never should have went. Zaire almost cost me my marriage. Because my girl said, man, you don't need to go over there, man. But, you know, it was what it was, man. I had all the entertainment over there. Right. Then the Godfather, at that time, I was doing a little something here and there, taking care of James Brown when he come into New York or come to the Latin Casino in New Jersey. I would do security for the Godfather.
Oh, so you were doing security for James Brown. So you know the Al Sharpton story. Al Sharpton's is...
I know Charleston story. I was with Bobby Bland. I was with BB. I was with Denise and Sal. I was with all the big groups out of Philadelphia. I was with Teddy for a while when he did shows home in New York or in New Jersey at the Latin. And I did a couple of shows for Jackie Wilson, but I wasn't there the night he had the show on stage. I wasn't there that night. I didn't do that show for the great for Mr. Sykman, Jackie Wilson.
What happened to Jack? He got what on stage?
They had a show on stage.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, take us back to the relationship between Don King and Al Sharpton.
Well, Al used to be with us all the time. I don't know what happened between him and Don. I can't testify to that, but I know they used to be real close. Last time I spoke with Sharpton, he was at a church in Newark, New Jersey. And I said, You talk to the Don? He said, he on the wrong side. He's supporting Trump. That was when Trump ran for office. So I said to Big Al, I said, man, Don is our guy. But when Don was on trial, Al stood with us. Me, him, Yusuf Shaw, and we had a publicity guy named John Solberg. All of us stood together. We went to court with DK every day. DK, my man. He my guy, but Carl is my man. It's sure enough my guy, Carl King. That's my guy.
So, how was the relationship between James Brown and Al Sharpton?
They was real close, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was like Al Sharpton's surrogate father. They was real close, bro. They was real close. They was real close, bro. Trust me. They was real close, my brother. They was real close. Him and the Godfather were close. You see, Al Sharpton went down there when he passed, brought him to the Apollo, and took him back to Georgia and put him in the ground. That was his man. His children love Reverend Sharpton. Reverend Sharpton is my guy. I haven't seen him since a couple. Last time I seen him about a year or so, about 2 years ago, he was at a Baptist church in Newark. He reached out to me. He reached out for me. He started a car service for me. That's my man, Reverend Sharpton. That's my guy. And I love his two daughters, and I love his ex-wife, Kathy. That's my buddy and sister Kathy. That's my buddy.
Wow. And how was, because I only know what I've heard through second party. So I'm not incriminating James Brown at all. I'm just telling you what I've heard over the years. Okay. I heard that and you can let the people know that he had like a temper, kind of like an abusive type temper. Uberly talented.
Oh, go ahead. Let me say this. I've never seen the Godfather James Brown get physical with nobody. I've personally never seen it. I've heard it from certain women, but I never seen it. I heard the late Tammy Terrell family said James got physical with her. I heard people say David Ruffin, but I never seen him get physical with none of the backup girls. I've never seen it. All the times I've been with him at the BB King Club, at the Apollo, at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia. I've never seen it personally. I heard it, but I never seen it. And you know how I am. I'm from the corners. I testify what I see. So I never personally seen it, Fred.
So is it true James Brown gave Al Sharpton the term minister, and he was not at the time an ordained minister, but that was like his nickname? Reverend Al Sharpton, excuse me. Yeah.
Al Sharpton was a youth minister for Dr. King. For Dr. King Youth Minister Program. He was a minister for Dr. King Youth Minister Program. He was a youth minister, then he came on up through the ranks. That's what I know personal. I don't know what the Godfather said or none of that, but I know Al Sharpton always was in the church. Alfred Sharpton always been in the church. I know people that's in Brooklyn at Bishop Johnson Church on Washington Avenue in Brooklyn always said they could put him on the soapbox when he was 9, 10 years old and he would deliver a sermon. That's what I know about Reverend Sharpton.
And at that time in the 70s, Frank Lucas was running Harlem, right? Frank Lucas was running Harlem, correct?
In the 70s, you had Frank, Nicky, and the man was Frank Matthews. He was the boss. Frank was the biggest. Frank Matthews.
Okay.
Kentucky boy. PB Matthews. Frank PB Matthews. He was the biggest of all of them. Bigger than Nicky and Frank Lucas.
When you look back at it, I know Hollywood glorifies the mobsters, the Bumpy Johnsons, the Frank Lucas,
what'd you say, Fred?
The Matthews. I said,
hello?
Can you hear me? Mr. Muhammad.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you look back on that drug, on those drug kingpins and what it did to Harlem, I don't know nothing about Harlem.
Okay. I'm a Philadelphia guy.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, the glorification of the Bumpy Johnsons and the Frank Lucases. Do you like when you look back and you see the destruction that those drugs did, that they brought in? How do you see that now?
They're still doing it today.
No, I know
they done changed, different players in different eras.
Right. Do you feel comfortable today calling them your allies, like the Bumpy Johnsons? I'm not sure if you knew them, but like the Maya Lanskys and stuff like that, because they basically destroyed their communities for monetary gains.
Let me say this.
Yes.
All I can say, whatever I've done in those days, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness and for mercy.
Right.
On my soul when I leave here and grant me Jannah. That's why I'm trying to do all I can to try to make it to Jannah.
Right.
Inshallah, mashallah.
Right.
I'm not saying what I done or what I didn't do.
Right.
But I knew a lot of people. I had my hand tied in a lot of things.
Right.
Only God knows best. He's the best to know and best to plan.
Right. I get that. How would you sum up Muhammad Ali? If you were speaking to a bunch of people, how would you summarize your relationship and Muhammad Ali as a man?
One of the greatest human beings that a God ever made, because Ali understood. He understood life. He understood the cause. He fought for the cause. Even all his shortcomings at the end, his 30 years, some odd years of sickness, he stayed on his deen. He bear witness that Allah's God, that Muhammad is the last and final prophet. May peace be upon him and all his companions. Ali was a good humanitarian. Not only a good fighter, he was a good human being, he was a good guy. Mm-hmm. We all have shortcomings. Even you, me, we all have shortcomings.
Absolutely.
But to sum it up, it's a good brother, man. Helped a lot of people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fed a lot of people. Bought a lot of houses for people. He did what he thought was right. All he did on the end was try to get the agenda. May Allah grant him paradise, I mean.
Does it upset you that because he helped so many people and did so much and employed a lot of people that he died financially strapped?
No, he wasn't strapped, man.
Well, I mean, they had to sell his name and stuff like that. So, I mean.
Well, I don't know what Lonnie did. That's between Lonnie and Almighty God Allah. See, I don't speak on something I don't know. Okay. He wasn't strapped. You know, Lonnie sold his name and his merchandise 12 or 15 years before he passed. Mm-hmm. And all his guest appearance, he was getting paid. Lonnie's very smart. I don't care too much with Sister Lonnie, but she's very smart. Okay. I wouldn't let nothing happen to her from a street standpoint because she was with Ali, and I loved Ali. I was loyal to Minister Jeremiah.
Right.
Lord, to my captain and my imam who taught me Islam, the Sunnah, Imam Shamsuddin Ali.
Right.
Mike Tyson's father-in-law.
Right.
That was my captain. That was my imam.
Right.
He was in the penitentiary. He was my imam and my captain.
Right.
I love Imam Shamsuddin.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, but that's my guy.
Right.
I hope to see him when I go out, if I'm well enough to go out to Devin Haney's fight. Right. By Allah's grace, as I approach 80 years old.
Right. Yeah. Ali. Mr. Muhammad, and I'm glad I'm having this conversation with you. I only can tell what people tell me, right? And I've heard the good. I heard the good up until I was like 35, 36. And then when you get knee deep in boxing and you have conversations with people and they tell you stories and stories and
well, I was there.
No, but I'm telling you what I heard. I'm not telling you what I saw. I'm telling you what I heard from people who were there. So I've seen, I've heard the bright lights, the bright side of Muhammad Ali, and I've heard the dark side of Muhammad Ali. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I asked you, since you were with him.
The only one that gave us problems was the first wife, Sonia. Sonia was crazy. Sonia was crazy as hell. I love Sister Sonia. But she just said, I ain't found Elijah Muhammad. See, Sonia was a gangster herself, the first wife. She come out of Mississippi, by the way, of Chicago. Her and all the uncles, they was real Mississippi gangsters.
Right.
So she said, I ain't found Elijah, I'm a Baptist, I'm going to stay a Baptist. Ali can stay or go.
Right.
And Ali left.
Yeah.
But Ali took care until she died. He took care of Sister Sonia. That's where he was. He took care of Sister Sandra.
Right. He had a big heart. Yes,
he was. Good guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
My man. That's my man.
Now, did y'all relationship stop, or were you there? How in the last years of his life, how much communication did you have with him?
You know what, man? Let me say this, man. And I'm not going to dog Sister Lonnie out. She denied a lot of the Philadelphia guys to get to Ali. I guess because she didn't want the gangster around him at the end. Ali came to Showtown, to Showtime for something. And I'll have to be in New York. And I'm walking down the street. So one of the brothers out of Philly, man, he said, man, I just got all these autographs. I said, what is that, man? So with Showtime, I went over there, man, and you know I don't disrespect nobody. You know, I could have went off, but Sister Lonnie said he's not feeling well, Brother Captain. So, you know, we catch another time. I know you love him. I know you was with him. And because maybe everybody told me, Belinda and everybody. But you know what, man? I'm not going to dog Sister Lonnie out. But I know some stories about Sister Lonnie that the world would love to hear. But I ain't going to speak on that because that's my sister. She's a Muslim. And it's the month of Ramadan. And I ain't going to dog this sister out. But I know some stuff, bro. Said the world would love to know. But, you know, it is what it is. She has to pay on the day of Yom Kippur. But what I will say, now the times I was certain places, and May and Rashid and the twins was with him, they made sure I saw him. Because I babysit the twins when they lived in Cherry Hill, when they were little girls. And listen, when his grandson fight, every time he come play New York for Top Rank, he come hug me. He asked the guy at the front desk, he said, you seen the captain? He said, the captain be over, he coming over and talk with Top Rank guys. Because, you know, I'm close to Bruce Campbell and Brad Goodman.
Right.
You know, I'm real close. And then, you know, Bob showed me love when he see me. He said, oh, Campbell, you all right? So I'm all right. I'm all right, Mr. M. I'm your guys take care of me. He said, that's what I told him to do. Because he know me. He know how I am. He know it is what it is, man. But what I will say, on the end, I didn't get to him like I wanted to get to the champ, man. I guess Sister Lonnie didn't want nobody around him as his health was really failing. Sister Lonnie protected him, man. I ain't gonna dog Sister Lonnie out. I don't care too much for Sister Lonnie. but you know, it is what it is.
Right.
My girl is Sister Belinda. That's my girl right there.
Right.
Because you know, she come up in the ranks.
Right.
But to say certain things, Brother Fred, some things will be said at certain times.
Sure.
But what I will say, man, it broke my heart. I didn't go to Louisville for the funeral. I didn't go to Louisville because I was sick, and you know I didn't feel good. But I got a call when he passed. I got a call. I talked to Rashida and her sister, and I talked to May. You know, and Junior, I never really knew Junior that well. I know all the girls that well. I never knew Ali Jr. that well because he's always in Chicago with his grandparents on his mother's side.
Right.
But me and Rudy, my man. Rudy, my guy. Rudy, my guy, man. That's my guy, Rudy. Rockman Ali. That's my man.
Did you and Muhammad Ali ever have a conversation about y'all?
Put the right hand on you. It's me. I know I saw you. Listen, give me a cigarette.
Mr. Muhammad.
I've been looking for something new to watch.
Yeah, Fred.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. Did you and Muhammad Ali ever have conversations about y'all transition from Nation of Islam to Sunni Muslims?
Yeah, I gotta say this and I gotta go. Yes, we did. He made a transition in 75. I made it in 76, 77 in Philadelphia under Imam Shamsuddin. That's my guy. He said, brother, We going on this sooner. Emmanuel B. Muhammad came in office, came in Philadelphia. He took down all the pictures of Farad, Elijah in the mosque. We could see you couldn't stand because he couldn't do that in Philadelphia because that was Jeremiah's mosque. The mosque was in Jeremiah, and then the building was in Jeremiah's name.
Sure.
So we own the building. The other guys own the building. So, but everything else he did. Listen, I gotta go. It's getting late. It's almost 1 o'clock. I love you. May Allah bless you and your family. Assalamu alaikum.
I appreciate you, bro. All right, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know the conversation was gonna go like that, man. But great conversation, man. I appreciate y'all, man. We'll get Mr. Muhammad on for some more history. Talk to you guys soon, man. And don't forget, go to Silent Heroes, man. And here's the here you go. Here's the commercials.
What?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were, because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning.
Time after time after time, we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they fear for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
Eggs, my brother.
No. Don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.